and welcome back. Fitz here from the Misfit Guild, back looking at Sea Power. Typical timing, not long after I played the first mission in the campaign, quite a major update dropped. So see how things go. We might have a chance to talk about that. But thank you again for joining me and learning as we're going on this. I won't do a full-on after-action report or anything even close to from the first mission. Very happy with the outcome. How we got there, though, I made some mistakes on the weapon ranges. Tactics were fine. No one got hurt on our side, but yeah, definitely some takeaways for me to have a read on things and have a rethink about how I used some of those weapons and sensors. I did watch a few other content creators after I'd finished the mission, so yeah, on the whole, quite happy what we did, how we got there, but yeah, just need to be a little bit more careful and take time when it comes to checking out the weapons and the tools that we have access to. That being said, part 2, Operation Revenge. We are, by the looks of it, switching sides and seeing what the immediate response, the aftermath, was for the freeing of the spy ship, which was captured by the Soviets last time round. So let's click some buttons and see what happens. Okay, welcome back from Commander of the Red Banner Pacific Fleet, TOF. Operation Revenge. Yesterday, United States spy ship was aggressively patrolling in our territorial waters, attempted to monitor our operations. We had dispatched a surface action group to shadow the Americans and assured they did not interfere. During the course of protecting our interests, when the Americans failed to leave our territorial waters, an overly aggressive commander seized the USNS Cape, word I can't say, and US crewmen were killed along with Soviet comrades. NATO submarines operating in that area hastily responded, sinking our warships and killing our comrades. While there are concerns about escalation and the potential for nuclear war, USSR men and ships lay at the bottom of the ocean, and their death cannot go unanswered. The Kremlin has ordered you to locate a US task force en route from the Attu Island to Japan and to sink it. So mission, locate the US task force travelling from Attu to Japan, target and neutralise the US surface forces. MCON policy at my discretion, so that's just sensors, air assets are en route, that's important. Protect your own forces to the fullest, sure. There are 4 ships, Spearance, Belknap, Liahe, and the Oliver Hazard Perry class frigate. Friendly order of battle, I'm not going to pronounce those names, but effectively I have 4 ships and I have a reconnaissance plane, 2 Tu-22M2 bombers, and a submarine, so a different flavour of sub. I think that's a Bear recon plane. Find it shortly, I guess. Anticipate US task force will operate on a southwesterly course. Anticipate catching the US forces unawares. That's going to be important. And no enemy air coverage. Good. Don't have to worry about any kind of airstrikes or anything. Hopefully my aircraft can operate independently and without risk to them other than the surface vessels. Let's find out. Okay, and welcome to the gameplay. Yesterday, NATO forces attacked our warships in our territorial seas. Commanders ordered Task Force Vostok to get underway from Petropavlovsk immediately and seek out and destroy a known American surface group transiting from Attu to Japan. Friendly air from Kamchatka Air Base is scrambling to get airborne now, with Tu-95RT recon aircraft overhead shortly and a flight of Tu-22M bombers behind them. The US task force is superior in strength. That's a little bit troubling. Utilise Task Force Vostok and the air assets to neutralise the enemy threat. At least one of your ships must survive. Okay, same deal as the first mission. Hopefully you do significantly better than one ship surviving. Okay, let's start the mission and start the cogs turning, I guess. What have we got here? Sovereign 2, a Slava and a Cresta. So I remember some of these from the first mission. Obviously we've changed sides slightly, so let's have a look at these. Sovereign. Okay, a destroyer, fast with, what are you? You are surface to air missiles, can also be used against surface targets. You have Sunburn anti-surface missiles with a range of 50 miles. Okay, I recognise these. These are the anti-submarine mortars. Torpedoes, fine. And then guns, close-in guns. Slava, what are you? Oh, I like the look of you already. So SANs, so that's more surface to air missiles. Different flavour of surface-to-air missiles. And sandbox missiles. 297 nautical mile range. Wow. And pretty fast, 1300 knots. Supersonic stars designed to replace the Shadow, compared to Shadow, much faster. Inter-missile data link that allows the majority of to stay at low altitude, while a single missile flies up acting as a spotter. Okay. And has ECM. Sounds like we're going to be making use of these, what are they called again? Sandbox. Okay. And then, yeah, okay, the anti-submarine mortars. Torpedoes, and then guns. What else do we have? Cresta 2, I think we had that. Oh, we went against that the last mission as well, reference. Okay, just notice anti-air actually tells you their type, so I'm assuming. Yeah, I remember that from last mission. So that's the cruise missile launch torpedo. So yeah, no decent anti-ship missiles on this, and then another Sovereign many. Okay, so that's our task force. We also have you are a funny-looking submarine, my guy. You are going to be a missile sub, aren't you? Cruise missile submarine, yes. Sorry, again, that's something I half recognise from Cold Waters. You have 8 Shadocks. That's what was referenced on the other cards. This is an older missile. There's some at the time of deduction. Okay, that's a nice way of saying old. Launch platform needs to stay in contact with the missile during the entire flight, which means submerged platforms stay exposed on the surface. Right. So you need to come up. That probably means you've got a weird sense. A targeting computer, a fire control radar. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now we've got that down. Where are we? So our surface ships are to the northwest of the estimated position, and our submarine is to the south. Alright, I'm going to sit here quite happily, I think, waiting for our air forces to arrive. Okay. Yeah, before we get to that point, I'll talk a little bit about the game update. I'm not an expert on this stuff, but as I understand it, there was better surface textures added for like land bases and well, anything outside of the sea, which I'm looking forward to seeing. Also, kinematics. This might come to play in this mission actually. Effectively, before the update, a missile had a set range. It said 300 miles, it would go 300 miles. If it's based on an aircraft, and the aircraft is very high and very fast, the range will be higher than if it was, low and slow effectively. So air density, fuel efficiency, all that kind of stuff now actually plays a part in it. If you want to fire something further, make sure it's already going high and fast before you click the fire button. Perfect. Okay, quick break. I will be back when our aircraft arrive, I guess. And we're back. The recon flight has now arrived, so I'm going to acknowledge that. This has popped in. Okay, I recognise this, I think, as a bear, I think it's called. It might well be called something else. That might be quite out of date now. But I'm just trying to remember the briefing here. The enemy is unaware of us, so they don't know there's surface forces nearby. On the world stage, where are we? We are in the middle of absolutely nowhere, so it wouldn't be too unusual for an aircraft to be passing with its radar blazing. So I'm more than happy to keep my ships quiet, their emissions controlled, but this guy I am more than happy to turn on air search and the surface search. Now I'm hoping very quickly we'll start getting information about what's actually in this red circle. I did read the names, but none of them actually triggered anything in memory-wise for the enemy combatants that we're coming up against. So I won't go. Oh, there you go. Okay, I won't go straight towards it just in case there's some massive range or I'm putting this thing in danger. But you may have noticed there on the bottom left, one of those unknown targets has instantly flipped to red, which means it's been identified as a hostile. I think that's the symbol for a warship. I don't know what it is yet, but they're in the place that we expected them, which is good news for all the planning. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set things up here, have a quick fiddle with the height and the speed of our recon aircraft here, and I'll be back either when we start to detect the ships which are in this area, or our bombers arrive, and we can have a quick chat about those. Okay, welcome back. You join us as the radar controllers, I guess, start squawking and saying they are starting to detect more and more contacts. A name has appeared on this first contact that we had, the Lihei. What are you? You are a missile cruiser, which is very bad. You have these are standard missiles. I think RIM standard missile to ER. I think that's extended range is a key part of the new threat. Okay, so they now have incredibly strong air defenses with a range of 80 miles. Can be used against surface targets as well, which is something I'm still trying to get my head around. Okay, I don't want to be anywhere within 80 miles of this with my air assets. What else do you have? I recognise you. You are a Harpoon. So that's the American/NATO, I guess again, standard anti-ship missile. 65 nautical mile range, which is a very, very strong range there. Active radar seeker, activate after pre-programmed route. Surface launch does not perform a pop-up maneuver. Sea skimming phase to... Okay, so it's very difficult to intercept. Doesn't pop up like our missile did, I think we were talking about earlier. This thing just skims as low as possible. Difficult to detect, reasonably fast. 540 knots, but will be difficult for our surface-to-air missiles to intercept. Our bombs have arrived, so let's have a quick look at those. Perfect timing. Get rid of that, get rid of that. Where are you? Backfires are these? Again, I'm sorry, I'm going on very old references on this. Tu-22M2 bomber. Not to be confused with the earlier Tu-22, supersonic strategic and tactical strike aircraft capable of providing standoff strike in volume against well-defended targets. That sounds exactly what we need for today. They are carrying AS4 Kitchens. And apparently they're already trying to engage, which I will be trying to sort out immediately. Anti-surface missile, 2,400 knots. That's fast. And a range of 250 nautical miles. Okay, so we were saying earlier about the kinematics. The range might be slightly higher with that, so we might be able to play around based on the update. But a Soviet air-launched supersonic standoff anti-ship weapon carried by this has a high-altitude, high-speed profile with supersonic terminal dive, making it very hard to counter. Yes, please. Sounds good. I am going to have a play around with these guys now, set up their altitude and headings, and also see if I can stop it instantly attacking. Reason being, referencing back to the mission briefing, the enemy, the surface group that we're going after, is unaware of us. I want to be as close as we can be, similar to the first mission, before we start doing an alpha strike on them, overwhelm their defences. We already know they've got a very strong missile cruiser. I suspect there's going to be equally capable ships in there, and what I don't want to do is waste my the element of surprise and my very, very good missiles if they're just going to get intercepted. I will be back in a bit. Okay, welcome back. Just a quick update. A few more hostile warship surface vessels have been detected. Unfortunately, I've lost the track of the Lihei, however you pronounce it, sorry. So we can't actually look at that one anymore. We are also noticing some air contacts unidentified at this time around them, so I'm assuming that they're going to be their helicopters, either with radars on themselves or they're performing some sort of anti-submarine operation. I had to actually stop myself doing exactly the same, remembering that these guys do not know we are here. Again, just to reiterate, it's not too unusual for a long-range reconnaissance aircraft to be out this far at sea. What we don't want to do is put a great big spotlight, aka radar emissions, coming from our own smaller, less capable force. I want to get as close to these guys as I can before I start sweating too much, and then utterly unload my missiles, the long range, and I think I recall there were some shorter range ones on these vessels. Let me do that while we're talking here. Sovereign. Yes, I think we saw these earlier. Sunburn 50 miles. 50 miles, I'd imagine, is going to be our engagement range, where all of our ships, or most of our surface ships, can all fire. Otherwise, only one of our surface ships and our submarine will be firing their missiles, and I strongly suspect they have very good air defenses. I don't want to waste my good missiles. Alright, cool. Back in a bit when my ships have moved in position, and or we find out more about who we're facing off against. Okay, welcome back. Our recon flight has gotten a little bit closer, and we have identified the Belknap and the Spruance. Let's have a look at the Belknap. Another missile cruiser. I'm glad we did a little bit more recon before doing anything. Another 80-mile threat range from these standard missiles. Anti-submarine rockets, fine. More harpoons. We can probably see them on the ship itself. I think that's what these launchers are. That's a Sea-Whiz, a Phalanx, radar-guided anti-incoming missile, anti-close range helicopter aircraft weapon. If you want to Google that, by all means, that thing's utterly terrifying. Their radars are turning, so I'm not under any illusion that they don't think there's ships out here. I just hope they don't know what we are. Again, really good looking game, this one. Spruance, haven't looked at you yet, I believe. Let's have a cheeky peek. A destroyer. You have Sea Sparrow missiles. Okay, I'll risk embarrassing myself on the internet. Sparrows are air-to-air missiles, typically. The fact that there are Sea Sparrows, I'm assuming that they are the same sort of thing, only launched from a ship. Semi-active radar homing is what I was expecting. You've got to keep your radar on when you're targeting when it's in flight. You can't fire it and then turn away. Only, and air quotes, 10 nautical mile range. Forgive me. Identical to the air launch AIM-7. Yep, there you go. Range speed is significantly lower because you're launching from a standstill at lower altitudes. Sea skimming. Okay, so that's just a self-defense weapon. Sure. Yeah, more harpoons. Great, fantastic. Anti-submarine rockets. They're torpedoes. I recognize the designation. Naval cannon, and then that'll be the Sea-Whiz, the Phalanx I was mentioning about earlier. Okay, I can see now why they were saying we are outclassed by these. That they all have harpoons, which are devastating weapons for firing other ships. If memory serves, there was 4 vessels. We've detected 3. Our fleet's continuing. Our task force is give me a too grand a name. Is continuing to approach. We have identified a nearby merchant. Again, not too worried about him. Again, fighting the temptation to launch my helicopter to double check these. But by looking at this, they seem to be in some sort of convoy or column formation anyway. So I'd imagine we're looking for 4 targets. I can see 3 of them here. I'm going to go ahead and assume that the other one's going to be tucked in here anyway. So we will continue to approach in circle, and I'll be back either when I identify the last of the 4 vessels, or we get into some sort of state of updates. Back in a bit. Okay, welcome back. Just a quick update. I've changed the position of my recon aircraft. I thought the further I go around here, I might start to lose contact with some, and lo and behold, I did actually, as I started completing the turns, we lost the identification of these 4 vessels. We still remember what they are, the middle 2 being the missile cruisers. We didn't identify the one at the end, though I think it was the Oliver Hazard Perry was the only one left on the list, and that's the only one whose name I recognised, if I'm perfectly honest. So I'm just going to let some more time go. We're still quite far away, 138 nautical miles. Again, our engagement range, I'm aiming for around 50. But with the recon aircraft coming over this way, it just means I'm more able to keep an eye on them without having any kind of distance, or me running into this lovely circle I've put around, which is the surface-to-air missile range on those missile cruisers, 80 nautical miles, or as near as I could be bothered to get with the tool there. So just skirting on the extreme range of that. Hopefully they don't know what we are. They haven't changed any formation, speed, or any kind of headings. So just having a quick break now, waiting for our task force to get closer, and I'll be back if anything changes or if we are in a firing position. Okay, just checking in, 101 miles from the targets to my surface group. A little bit concerningly, the helicopters have just dropped off my radar. So again, it might be the facing of my, again I'm going to call it a bear, it may well not be, but hopefully if I turn him around I'll get a snapshot of it. The closer we get, the more likely it is that they're going to dispatch their helicopters to come and give us a little bit of a once-over to see who we are, what we're doing out here. That, of course, being the cluster of vehicles, the vessels that we have here. Hopefully it hasn't happened yet, but again, starting to get a little bit more concerned. Again, this circle is the range of their surface-to-air missiles, the extreme range. I don't think they'd fire if I were to accidentally cross it, but I am gradually skirting on the extremes of it as I get a little bit more and more nervous. 89 miles from the recon aircraft, just under 101 nautical miles from my surface fleet. I'm going to break now. I will let you know if anything develops, and hopefully I catch the helicopters on my radar again. I don't want to turn my Task Force Vostok's sensors on, if I'm perfectly honest. Do you have radar? You do. I think that might give the game away if I have more aircraft all of a sudden start turning theirs on. I'll resist the urge, but I'll be back if anything changes. Okay, only a few minutes have passed and the helicopters have come back on my sensors. It did require me to dip into this line. Didn't like that. Yeah, I might do it periodical as needs be. So a little bit of micromanagement around my recon craft, just as we are getting closer to the magic 50 nautical miles. Down to 92 now. I will not be able to double check the weapon ranges that they have. Something's telling me it was 65 nautical miles for their harpoons, however. So again, I'm going to probably let my submarine creep a little bit closer. When we reach that magic 65 nautical miles, I might surface my submarine. I won't turn its fire control radar on yet, but as we get to just before we cross that 50 nautical mile mark, I will, just so we can launch all of our missiles, the long range, the medium, and prepare with the short range stuff as we're actually able to use it. Back in a bit. I'm not nervous, you are. Okay, back again. We just passed, or coming close to 75 nautical mile range. The Speranza has been positively identified again. I'm not sure if my imagination or not, but it does look like the helicopters are starting to edge further to the northwest before turning around again. I think it's only a matter of time before they come out and start to investigate us. I will, just as one less thing for me to micromanage, I will turn my recon craft back further outside of that line, but I think, I don't know what I zoom out, see if it's just my imagination or not when I watch this back later, if these are in fact edging slightly further northwest. The distance again, just distance check from my task force, 74 miles. Back in, I would imagine, not very long. Okay, just past 70 miles gap between the task force that we're commanding and the targets. Was a little bit of my imagination, I think. Could have just been the sensor contact bouncing around within that oval. It's not a perfect lock. We know what it is. Okay, that was interesting. So no, I will be back closer to the time. Probably when you cross over the harpoon range, which is 65 nautical miles. Around that time, I'm going to surface our submarine. When it's about 55 nautical miles to go, that's when I'll probably turn on its fire control radar, so we can launch all of our strikes at once. I will be back then, or if anything happens in the meantime. Okay, not my imagination. We are definitely being sniffed out by the ASW aircraft. I will get my anti-aircraft vessel here. What's your longest range, Sam? 30 nautical miles. Still a ways to go there. Anything else? Anybody else got anything further than 30? 13? No, that's sounds like I am going to be throwing out some SAMs before we are in a firing position. That's not fantastic. It's not that one, sorry. Cresta 2. Goblet. Yeah, 29.7 nautical miles. Okay. Current range is 49 miles to go. Range to the task force is 63 miles. I am in harpoon range. So that's the firing range that we have on here. I don't want to turn on any radars to get a better lock on it, but effectively right now that helicopter could be anywhere within that yellow oval, which is making me very nervous. Okay, hopefully we get a better center lock from the recon aircraft. Let me... Oh, he's already in the bubble. I'll leave him alone. If they start throwing missiles out anyway, it's kind of irrelevant, and I'll just switch everything to weapons free. But for now, tell you what, you haven't got anything longer range. Is it worth putting him on weapons free? It's not going to fire a Silex. It's not going to fire mortars or anything. I'm going to put him on weapons free. So as soon as... That was slightly concerning. Are you already detecting something? Make sure it's only that vessel. Yeah. So it's going to weapons free, and I did see... I actually saw the launcher turn. I'm assuming he's preparing to fire. Don't know. Don't know what to do now. Well, we'll keep closing. 62.85 miles. It won't be that long until we're in our engagement range. I'm happy that we're defending as best we can with the best asset we have. I will let a little bit of time go. If we start firing or we start taking fire, I'll be straight back. Alright, we've got incoming missiles. This is a problem. Pause. Get everyone weapons free. Oh, hell, this is the worst possible time because we are still within range of their harpoons. They've identified us with something. I am not sure what, but I need to hit them right now, hopefully before it causes too much damage. You launch your at the Lihei. No, it's the wrong button. I know you've only got 3, but launch 4. Down that. That is a problem, and they are so close. Alright, could not have gone any worse this one, but let's see what happens next. So we've got Sam's going out against the first harpoons, of which there will be many. Let's turn on your air search radar, surface search radars. There's no point trying to be quiet now. Take out their missiles. Still can't turn on his fire control radar yet. Oh, guys, you need to have killed some more of these missiles. Thing. There's definitely going to be more incoming. Okay, Slava, can you launch your missiles? Return fire. Okay, remembering I wanted to be in range to fire my other missiles before we did this. More harpoons incoming. Okay, my strategic bombers have launched their missiles, so I didn't catch that. But the fact that they're out, hopefully, we'll be able to distract them with turn radars on. Let's launch these. Fire 4. Fire another 4. Look at this thing. It's such a weird design. Okay, he's going to dump those out. Remember, he's got to stay on the surface to fire off his missiles. These are our defences. And our outbound missiles. Hopefully all of ours can arrive around the same time. The ones on the south, they were always going to be a distraction. Those things are old by the looks of it, by all accounts. These are the enemy SAMs. They are going for my, unfortunately, for my decent missiles. Just making sure we're taking out their missiles as well. Turn in flank speed, because we're going to need all of our missiles firing. What are these? Oh, that's their SAMs. Okay. More SAMs. Okay, they are taking ours out, which is unfortunate. We do have a number of our missiles. I've got absolutely not much confidence that they're going to get through their surface air missile net. They have very, very good surface air missiles with extremely long range. How far away are we? 57 nautical miles. Not too much further for us to go. Did both of you guys launch? Both of you guys did launch. You can back off. You guys can back off as well. Less things for me to worry about. Don't know what you're going for. Okay, these are our very good missiles coming in. Please hit the mark on some of these missile cruisers. We need to take them out. So for some of the other missiles to have a chance of getting through. Some chaff being launched, try to distract. Oh, we did hit, good. And now a second wave of missiles coming in, hopefully. So I didn't check what one was hit. That was the Belknap. He seems perfectly fine, but hopefully that strike will let some of these other missiles come through. Some of them are still being taken out. 2 inbound though. One inbound. And instantly kills the Esperance. That was an amazing hit. Thank you very much. Checking in on our ships. I think we're still unscathed. Dumping out chaff, trying to distract and throw off their missiles. I just gotta hit this. More chaff going out. See who is engaging. Oh, thankfully that killed it. There's another one inbound though. It's been distracted, it's been spoofed. Good, 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 good. So he'll turn away. More harpoons coming in. Let's see how our missiles are doing. So Spiros has been killed. Belknap looks like it's had a hell of a day at the office. The Alhad Perry and the Leahy, however, seem perfectly fine. Okay. Okay, not too bad. I don't think we've taken a hit yet. There's no smoke or fire coming out of any of our vessels. First last words. Oh, okay, we did hit it. Good, 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 good. Okay, so one damaged ship, one downed ship. This guy, however, still a problem. We want him to go down. How far away are our vessels? Still 10 miles out of range. We've got another wave of missiles coming out from my submarine. I can't get him to turn away yet because he needs to maintain the fire control radar lock. I'm going to have a quick break here and I will restart recording immediately again when they get closer. Okay, welcome back. We've got some of these, what were they called? Shaddocks, were they? The older style missiles. This is the final wave coming from our submarine. I'm not thinking we're going to take out and exhaust all of their surface-to-air missiles. They have a lot that they are carrying. I can't see their current stores, but they started with 80, so even if this and the other missile cruiser had a full load, that's a lot of SAMs they can throw out against the potential incoming missiles that I am throwing their way. So there's another 3, maybe 4. That's just 3. Fine. Oh, I didn't see this though. There's another 2 harpoons coming out. I think their ships were carrying 8 each of these, so hopefully there's not too many of them left. Let's turn towards my nearest ship. That's not good. It's definitely tracking. Hopefully the Seawiz gets it. Oh no, it's gone for the chef. Okay, good. Okay. Okay, no, that is in fact not in the water. But I don't know where he's going. He's probably been... Yes, but the little red symbol, the triangle, pyramid, however you want to say it, that means that they've been spoofed. There's something jamming it. I'm hoping that means it's going to fly maybe between those ships. Let's not gamble on that. Belknap's definitely taken on a lot of water and is completely stopped. Engines aren't turning anymore. Okay, good. So that leaves the Leahy and the Perry. How many? Oh, it doesn't actually say. Okay. Don't know how many harpoons they had. Hopefully they've exhausted their supply, considering we've knocked out half the ships. Task Force, get in there. Okay, so they would have been turning and evading, so that's fine. That's why they're facing a slightly different direction to what is optimal. But so far, we appear to have survived. All the submarine's missiles have been intercepted. We're going to get him to go below the layer. So again, one less thing for me to micromanage. If nothing else, it maybe let some of the other missiles go through. I'd have to watch the recording back, see if it had any impact other than making me feel better. So far, alright, I didn't get the first strike off, but I have weathered the storm of their harpoons. My long-range missiles did make some impact, but as suspected, I did need the medium ones. A little bit disappointed I didn't actually get any closer to do a full alpha strike, but you know what? They're hurting a lot more than we are right now, so I will take that. I will approach with our task force, and I'll be back if anything happens, if they start firing again, or if we are in range to launch more of our missiles. Okay, we do have another wave of missiles coming in on us. Hopefully we can survive another wave. We are about 50 miles away now, I think, so we are very close to being able to launch. Yeah, I think we're still doing okay here. Haven't seen any hits at least. Again, guys, you've got to turn in. I need to close this distance. Otherwise we're just going to keep being hammered by their missiles. They're coming in twos, which suggests to me they are coming from the same ship maybe, or they've synchronized the launching from the two ships. Either on purpose or just how the refire rates kicked in here. Nice, very good. Both the next missiles coming through. What's the nearest ship I have? It is the Sovereign. Okay. I could split them out of the... Oh, it's so close. I might split them out of the formation, but that does make me more vulnerable to them taking missile fire again. The Perry has dropped off our sensors, not because we've hit it, just because it's either gone behind another ship or there's something else in the way there. Are all your sensors on? Yeah. Let's make sure I've not done something silly. Yeah. Nope, everything's burning. Every sensor you have is currently on. Nice. There's another one, however. We're slowly turning to the east again as well. Oh, such a shame we didn't close that last couple of miles so we could fire all of our missiles back now. We're waiting for... is there a return course? Resume course. Okay. You are the closest. I will double check the range on our Sunburns. That was the name. 50 miles. What are we away? Still too far away. I'll weather this storm. Well, they're coming in singly now by the look of it. No, they're not. They're still coming in twos. I'll hopefully weather these two, and then I'll see if I can advance in time and get closer. Again, I'll be back if there's more coming in, or worse comes to worse, I actually do take a weapon hit. Hopefully not. This could be so much worse if they had all their asses up and they were firing 4 or more missiles per salvo, but as we are, we seem to be doing okay. I'll be back in a minute. I think we might be in trouble. Yeah, one of our ships take a hit. Looks like it is the Slava, which is a shame. However, this is the one that was already used up its long-range missiles. That is a shame. Let's have a look. That's my button. Damage control. Hull damage is apparently slight, though, as you can see by the amount of red on here. That's quite a lot of fire. Propulsion's damaged. Seaways, there's a weapon magazine gone. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to remove this from the formation now, but I don't think we're going to see too much from the Slava going forwards. Again, a real shame. Leave formation. Okay, rest of the formation. Please just gun it to the east, fast as you can. Back if there's another wave coming through, or if we get close. Okay, as typical luck, there hasn't been any more harpoons coming my way, so I'm hoping that means that was the last of their stores. Typical that it actually struck us. Looks like there's 2 surface vessels. We did lose contact with them, which are, you know, within where the target's vessels were. They do appear to be. Let's get this off already. Within 50 miles. So let me see if I can actually launch on these now. I would like you to go away, please. How are you going to be able to launch? Target too far away. 49 nautical miles. It does say to 50. I'm not sure what that might be, but okay, fine. I will take your word for it. And what we will also do is get you to Salvo 4 at the second radar contact. Belknap, I mean, it's very slowly losing its battle against the water. I mean, there's the actual impact hole now in the sea, so I'd imagine that's not going to do much for its buoyancy. I'm not a nautical engineer, however, but I would assume that's going to be bad for it. Let us see. Yeah, I did say, I'm not sure why it's not launched yet. If I click it, it does appear to be within its strike range. SSN 22. Do I have any other? Am I missing something? Anti-surface. And within range. Substances going internal phase. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, I'm not seeing anything there that would prevent it from firing. Okay. A little weird, but sure. Don't think it has to slow down or anything to fire. Cresta, you got anything? I think I already checked this, if I'm honest, but there you got Silexes, which are the cruise missile torpedoes. Okay, I'm going to invest a little bit more time, get a little bit closer, see if we can positively identify what these are, and or wait until we launch. Okay, welcome back. I have just noticed that these guys are starting to throw out these sunburn missiles, I think they were. This thing is much faster than the harpoons were. However, they are much shorter range. Was it 15 miles, nautical miles closer? I did tell it to launch in volley. It's gone for the Belknap and the second target there. Hope we don't fight all the ones we have. You fired all of them. Well done, you. You still have a bunch. I want you to engage this one. Give me Salvo here. Yeah, I really don't want to finish this mission with a gun battle. So hopefully these missiles will start to split their targets. Again, we've already taken out one. Unfortunately, yeah, it's a Spearance, which is what I wasn't too worried about. The Belknap was the missile cruiser. One of these is an Oliver Hazard Perry, and one of these will be the other guided missile cruiser. We are rapidly approaching. Don't know if they're still running their radars. I should probably learn more about these, but radar echo, I'm assuming that's the return from our sensors rather than theirs. I can see a SAM launch in the distance. I think we might be too fast and too close for it to matter though, fingers crossed. There goes one. There goes two. That guided missile cruiser is definitely doing its thing still. Let's see if we can capture some of these hits. More hits on the Belknap. Hit. Oh, some of these have been spoofed though. You can see the pyramid shape. 2, 3. There we go. That's one of the spoofed ones, fine. That's it, the Lihei, sorry. Instantly abandoning ship. You've got the lifeboats launched there. That's the second missile cruiser, which means this will be the Oliver Hazard Perry, the one I am least concerned about for its air defense capability. Don't want to count chickens or anything. It's obviously still trying to defend itself. I'm hoping this last volley will be the end. There it is. All vessels destroyed. Fall back to friendly waters. Wait for further instructions. You are planning follow-on operations at Atu Island. A real shame that our what was it? The Slava did take a hit, and it was literally the last harpoon that they threw out. So we'd exhausted all of their stores, intercepted anything so far, and it was literally the last missile that they threw out. End the mission. Let's see what we got going on here. Nope. I'm sorry for any vomit-inducing that happened there. Yep, we had the USN SAG, as it says in progress there, but I mean it's effectively destroyed. One Belknap, one Lihei, Oliver Hazard Perry class, and Esperance destroyed. The Slava was damaged, it was not destroyed, which is the good news. I'm okay with that. We could have launched our long-range missiles on their own earlier. Some of them may have gone through. But I'll be perfectly honest, the way that their guided missile cruisers were performing there, I think they probably would have taken out all of our long-range missiles had we launched them within a respectable envelope without just getting hit. I don't think for a second they would have gotten through on their own had we not have been within an engagement range with some of our other weapons. Stand corrected though, happy to have people challenge that in comments by all means, but there we go. 661 score, 1000% efficiency, you love it, and we managed to not murder any neutrals in that one. Thank you very much for joining. I'll have a watch back on this one, see if there's any lessons learned on this, as we have been doing so far. But again, thank you for joining me on this, and hopefully catch you again soon. Bye for now.